we're going to go from the beeline into the butterfly, and I'm having Nikki take one end of the rope through the back ring on the harness, and then she's going to take that same end through one of the front rings on the harness. This is why you have your dog's person do it, so if they have to lean over them, it's okay for the dog. And then she's going to take that end in. So now I'm going to have both ends. So she's just going to organize the rope so that it's in the middle, so that she can hold the middle of the rope on her side. So she'll pull the rope out from the side that she's on, and I'm going to tie the two knots, the two ends together, so that if one person let go, or you'll see that when we do the half butterfly, it's appropriate. So now we can influence the front and the back of the dog. Generally, I use the butterfly for more forward-going dogs and the beeline for dogs who are a little bit slower, but that can change. So to help the dog slow, if we hold the lines, both lines in our inside hand, and then we're just going to stroke on the front line as we both step forward. So ideally you're working at the same time as your partner so that you don't take all the rope, and it can happen anyway. So Nikki's doing her best to do a little slide. Now this was a little bit of a tricky situation because we were at a daycare and Theo wanted to go and see his friends, and he's not used to doing much more than having a nice time. So we're doing okay. So we'd like him to walk kind of in between us if we can, without the ropes being taut. So it's a little bit slack. Now he wants to go to the left towards the gate. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the half butterfly. So that means that I'm going to take the rope from Nikki. She's going to give me the rope, and we're going to slide it. So now we have the rope going around one side of the chest, and I'm going to stroke as I step forward, and I'm going to give him a moment, and then I'm going to see if I can just give him a little bit of a turn to get him to come with me. And he wants to kind of hug the fence, so I'm going to let him do that. I'm going to give him a moment and wait and slide forward. So the half butterfly is great if you're alone with the dog. It keeps the harness from sliding because there's no hard attachment to anywhere on the harness. The only thing is you need to stay on the same side, or the opposite side from where it goes around the chest. And you see I take my hand to slide him to make a turn. He wants to go to the gate. I'm going to give him to Nikki. But you see, you can give a dog a lot of space, so you can let that slide. And I find that really important when you're working with dogs who are fairly forward going. So Nikki's picked up the end of the line in her outside hand. Now you see she's gone to the opposite side of the dog, which is his familiar side to be on. But in order for the half butterfly to work, she really needs to be, in this case, on his left side. Okay? And then I'm going to ask her to just think about looking where she's going, but without kind of ignoring the dog, and that's not always an easy thing to do. And so she'll stroke the line a little bit, talk to him, ask him to come. So that's nice. And when she wants to stop, she can do a little stroke up. Now, if she didn't reach so far across his back, it would be a little bit easier. But it takes a little bit of practice to slide up and out with the line. Nice job that she stroked to bring him around. And she'll ask for a stop with just a little lift, but I think he'll stop anyway. So that's the half butterfly.